Well, hi there. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you're getting through Chapter 7 okay without the face-to-face. We're going to wrap up the rest of the exercises in Chapter 7, and I want to stop right here. If you've made it this far in the video and you're still listening, I'm begging you to pay attention to these videos. To me, this isn't even about Excel. So yeah, I'm going to teach you some really cool functions and some really cool features in Excel, but what I'm about to show you is beyond that. It's about your personal finances in the future, and it's about borrowing money. And you know, teachers get a rap that say we never teach this stuff, and this is actually something I'm really passionate about, and I want to do my best to just kind of share and talk. I'm going to warn you right now, I might get a little long-winded, I might tell a story, but you're going to see rather quickly my passion for this information. So what I've done is I've opened up the file CU. Alright, see what I did there? Open up the file CU, and it's going to look like this. The C stands for credit and the U stands for union. If you're not sure what a credit union is, it's very similar to a bank. Alright, and if you want to get more detail about what a credit union does, they do a lot of lending as well, or borrowing. They allow customers to borrow money. We're going to start by plugging some numbers here, and we're going to actually start with a function today in exercise 716 called the PMT. PMT, and that stands for payment. All right, the payment function, and we're going to be using the left side on exercise 716. Financial functions are going to analyze money transactions such as borrowing, that's called a loan, all right? Or even if any of you have a savings plan, or maybe even bigger and better, maybe you've got some kind of investment that's beyond a simple savings plan. We're going to talk about those as well. Many financial functions are going to use the payment function, and another one we're going to learn here in the next exercise, the future value. Makes sense. The future value of your money if you put it into a different kind of a savings account. All right, so we're going to talk about annuities. Maybe that's a word you've seen or heard thrown around a little bit, but an annuity is a series of equal payments made at regular intervals for a certain period of time. And there's going to be some things that go into this. There's going to be a rate. That's an interest rate. Okay, those interest rates last for 12 months. There's going to be the NPER. N is the number of payments per period. Okay, so if you have a 5-year loan, how many payments are you making if you make a monthly payment? So it's 5 times 12, right? So you've got 60 payments. That's your NPER. You also have the PV. That's the present value. That's any current cash value you have. Maybe it's a down payment for a car, okay? You're going to have a future value, all right? And then that's going to be the future value if you put in X number of monthly installments, okay? If you decide to put in $100 a month into a savings account, or maybe a mutual fund or a 401k, these are all different ways that you could invest your money. And then the last is the type. And so banks can collect their interest in two different types. And that's either at the beginning of the period, so the beginning of the month, or it can be at the end of the month. And those two numbers are 0 and 1. They indicate the type. Let's go through this. Again, I don't want to bore you, but I'm telling you, this video is going to teach you more about buying a car than you're ever going to get from anywhere else. All right? And then the next video is going to teach you about something just as important. Now, I got to assume all of you would love to someday own a really nice car. I know I still do. Long story short, I have my dream car, and I know it sounds kind of funny, but my dream car was a Honda Pilot. We'll call it an affordable dream car, right? I mean, there's always those sports cars out there that I'd love to have a Corvette someday, but in the meantime, really, my dream car was to have a Honda Pilot, something nice that got good gas mileage, that I could throw a whole bunch of golf clubs in the back and have a lot of kids in the back too. So, you know, I hope that someday you all get that opportunity to fulfill those dreams too. And I'm going to teach you how to do that, like right now. So here we go. The file is called CU, and you've decided at the age of 20 years of age, you are going to go get a car. It's time for you to go put your big boy pants or your big girl pants on and go get a car, right? So you decide that you don't want to have a loan out for more than 4 years. So the number of payback years is going to fall into cell C7. And I want you to put 4 into that cell right there. And then I want you to hit enter, and it's going to take you down to cell C8. Now, do the math, people. If you're making monthly payments every month for 4 years, how many payments are you going to have? Okay, hopefully you're doing the math in your head. So let's write a formula for that. We start our formula with the equal sign. The number of years we're going to pay it, so I'm going to click in cell C7, and then I'm going to multiply by the number of payments in a year, which is 12. Now, why are we setting it up like this? You all knew the answer was 48. Why didn't we just plug 48 in? Here's why. Maybe I changed my mind and I wanted 5 years. Automatically does it for me. Maybe I can pay it back quicker and I'm only going to do 3. Automatically changes it for me. But in the meantime, 4 years, 48 payments. 48 payments, okay? Now, we're going to keep this reasonable for the time being. You're going to want a nice car, all right? It's time to have a nice vehicle, a trustworthy vehicle. You've got a good job. You're going to be traveling a little bit. So you're willing to pony up $20,000 for the car, all right? So in cell C9, I want you to plug in $20,000 of borrowed money. Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk right here. I want to talk a little bit maybe in the future with all of you about why we do our best not to borrow money. All right? Man, it's a tough topic to talk about over a YouTube video, but there are ways that you can prepare for saving $20,000 because you're going to see the interest on this car is going to get you here really quick. Okay? So, I don't know what the current interest rates are for an automobile loan. I don't know. If you want to look it up, great. If you want to shoot me a Google comment, even better. I don't know what they are right now. But the book is using the number 4.9%. So we're going to go ahead and plug in 4.9%. Now, this is how banks make their money, all right? So they loan you money with the expectation that you're going to pay a little bit more back than what you borrowed. That's how they make money, okay? So now we're going to go to cell C12. This is where we're going to figure out how much our payments are. Okay, how much are the payments going to be? And I'll tell you what, I love this when I'm doing in class. I love to ask people what they think this is going to be. How much do you think it's going to be? And I'm going to challenge you right now to stop what you're doing, grab a piece of paper, grab your phone, I don't care what it is, write a number down. I'm going to give you a little bit of time. You can pause the video if you want. But I want you to write a number down on what you think the monthly payments are going to be. All right, hopefully you've got something down. If not, pause the video, come back with a number written down. All right, let's write a formula. We're going to start by clicking the formulas tab. We've learned in previous exercises that this tab is very beneficial. We are dealing with financial functions right now. And if you remember at the beginning, I said we're going to be dealing with the PMT function, and that's about halfway down the scroll bar. And here is the PMT. Now, you're going to see these things we just talked about, the rate, all right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is the interest rate. And you remember the interest rate was 4.9%. We're going to go ahead and click on that number. But it's really, really important that you note that that is a yearly interest rate. So we need to divide it by the number of payments, all right? So that's going to be 12. So in the rate box, you're always going to want to keep that in mind, all right? How long am I doing this for? So in this case, it's going to be 4.9 divided by 12. The NPER, if you remember that, that's the total number of payments. And you can see it. It gives you a little screen tip right here, okay? And we know the answer is coming from cell C8. Now, we're going to go to cell C9. And this is the present value, all right? It's the total amount that is going to be value of the vehicle right now. The total value of the vehicle right now before you drive it off the lot is going to be $20,000. That's cell C9. Now, future value. This is an interesting one. How much do you want to owe on this vehicle when your payments are up? After 48 payments, you better hope to have this much owed. All right, so we're going to put a 0. You don't want any owed in the future. Now the type I talked about a little bit earlier, and if we click in this box, it tells you right here. The type is a logical value. A 1 is a payment that's made at the beginning of the year or the period. So most of our car payments are paid at the beginning of the period, or a 0, all right, if it's omitted, or paid at the end of the month. We're going to go ahead and choose the 1. That's very typical and common, okay, to collect at the beginning of the pay period. Now you're going to see a negative number here, all right, in our box of negative 457.8, all right. Now go ahead and hit enter, and you're going to see that number as a negative number. Why is it negative? Well, because that's money out of your pocket. That's money you are paying for a car. That's the big question. Are you ready to make a payment of $457.81 for a $20,000 car over 4 years? It's a lot of money. It's a big commitment. So I'd like to take a little spin on this, if you don't mind. And my spin on this is going to be, let's see what $457.81 over 48 periods is. So just off to the side, I'm going to do a quick formula. Equals 48 times 457.81. Now, I made it a positive number. So again, borrowing money, this car is going to cost you $21,974.90. Almost $2,000, or 10% of the value of your vehicle, is being paid to the bank in interest when you borrow. So there's a guy out there, maybe you've heard of him. His name's Dave Ramsey. He's a big advocate for not borrowing to pay for a car. So if you can do your best as a young adult to get to this stage, you're going to be well ahead of the curve. Okay, so we just completed our first PMT function. Save it as exercise 716, and we're going to move on to exercise 7.